old. So I guess I did get it working again today. Like I got that far, but like getting it to actually API back in, nope, not to save my life. Can't do it. I mean, I
Okay.
can't even find the settings in Zoom anymore. Like seriously, it's wild, you guys.
Wow.
Wilder, but like getting it to actually, but I'm live. Ha, we got somewhere. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we will move forward. How have you been doing? How's your prop firm stuff going? How's everything you're working on?
I got deep fried. It's my fault. One bad mistake. I was up $588 on one trade. I let it come against me. It was exactly $364 on that one trade. It came against me from 588. I got mad, and that's what I knew I had to work on. Jenny, I'm like a male version of you. I don't like to lose because I Forex, you didn't lose a lot, right? So you come over the futures, you like, hey, dude, that
Mhm.
ain't even a loss. You actually profited 364 in one trade. I got mad. I said, no, I need that. I need the rest of that back. And I just tilted, man. To be transparently honest, I tilted last Tuesday night and I lost my account. So, uh, yeah,
Ouch.
yeah.
Okay, well, last Tuesday, do you have another account yet?
Yeah, getting ready to get one. I had to
Okay.
take a break. I had to take a
Honestly,
break.
the break is probably smart. Like I
Yeah.
probably need to work on that. But see, seeing as of what I do, I don't be taking breaks. So there's
Yeah. You
that.
got a lot on your plate because so you can't really take breaks like that. I
No,
get it.
listen, I've got like literally probably no less than 50 accounts with live money, personal money, of course, the eval money, PA money, pro money, hedge fund money, and probably no less than 50 accounts.
50
Like,
accounts, Jenny.
wait, think about that though. Ready? Think about, remember, Trade Zella only allows 20. Okay. Trade Syncer will allow 120. Like, but if you look at the big picture of how many things you're trying to migrate and mitigate, when one thing goes wrong, especially with some of the software like Trade Syncer, like, come on, you have to click every single account. There's no like master setting. Who built that? That's so simple.
Yep.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I
I'm
get
gonna
it.
go down
I get it.
the tech deep end, you guys. Please forgive me, but I promise I'm gonna get off that bandwagon. I cooked a delicious meal. We're gonna look for a couple of trades. I had a great couple of meetings, and then I'm getting off. I'm gonna go walk at least 4 miles to clear my head. And then I have like 500 meetings tomorrow. And then I get to get my daughter from the airport, and I could not be happier. So I could not be happier. She comes in from Spain. She's home. She's mine for a little while. Just a little baby piece of time. Little
That's
baby piece.
awesome. Awesome, Jenny. Awesome.
Amen to that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I tell you what, the original Zoom link didn't work. Sorry about that. Nothing I can do. In theory, this should be working and wiring and firing as it should. So I'm not going to have up the YouTube comments for anybody who is watching in. Let's see, I don't know if I can see that or not. Nope, I can't because it's not doing it the right way. But that's okay. We'll get over it. We're just doing it. So business again, I said this morning, I'll say it again tonight. Business is about being able to get through all the things. And this is just one of those weeks to get through all the things. So it's 8 o'clock on the dot. Trade at your own risk. You guys know that stuff. Prop firms, you guys know all this stuff. I went ahead and added some of the other ones that I've tested. I like Project X enough because it's just I can put on my trade. I don't have to worry about the take profit and the stop loss. It's kind of nice, but you guys get the idea. And we have some new winners tonight, which should be pretty exciting. So if you haven't already done so, scan this. If you're getting a broker, if you're getting a prop firm, use code 6FTC. I am like so close on Take Profit Trader to being able to give away accounts, but I'm not there yet. So work with me, people, and we'll all benefit. So that's all I've got there. We're giving away over $1 million. We'll probably hit $2 million worth of prizes in 2025, which is kind of fantastic seeing it's all self-funded, right? 100% all self-funded. But here we go. We got the update listed, and the update is pretty fire. He's working on a couple of things. Contracts are wrong. When we went to try to improve for the other things like stocks, crypto, and Forex, we messed it up again. So we'll work on that. But there's one other thing. Oh yeah, I think Robert's wrong on the arrow too. There's also a buffer built in. I'm currently on the 2 minute time frame on NQ. I've got up a couple brokers off screen. Kind of terrified to mess with my because I don't have them all linked in properly. My Apex accounts. I've been really babying my PAs and only trading them on site on platform, mostly because I don't want any drama or nonsense what happens with the copy trading. So we shall see. I'm going to go ahead and turn the buffer off, mostly because the buffer, actually, I can make a note of that, is really good for a particular pair, but 10 ticks on NQ is nothing. 10 ticks on ES is an awful lot. So something to kind of think about. I did go ahead and leave a 2 tick buffer, which is probably a bit much on gold. Our 2 minute range is formed.
I got two arrows showing up already in the middle of the box.
What are you on the 1 minute?
Nope, 2 minute. And there's two downward arrows, and it ain't even broke the box out yet.
Do you have a buffer on? What pair? Don't laugh.
Gold. Yeah,
That's
I
what,
do have the buffer. Is that why it's doing that?
yeah, so right now the buffer is not being included in the arrows. Um, so that's another thing he's working on as we speak.
Okay.
Indices
Okay.
look like they're getting ready to break up, but we'll see. We're going to be patient. Um, turn the buffer off for the moment being. I am going to ask him if, that's going to be super complicated, but I wonder if we can include like ATR, like 1 tick, divided by, whatever the ATR is on that time frame, or like 0.5 of the ATR for the buffer. That would be fire. That would be fire, fire. Sorry to sound like a teenager, but somebody had to do it. NQ, still nothing. I went ahead and turned off the buffer, and that'll turn off that arrow, I assure you. So once the next update comes out, David, that won't happen unless it actually hits the buffer line. So right now that arrow is still going off of this candle. It's data, not the buffer's data. And here we go. So this is breaking through. We have retested 50%, and that is an arrow. We've got 4 seconds left on this candle. So in theory, we've got a really good potential trade that I literally had to go grab that box first before I could JC, Q, and selling. If I'm in one, I'm going to have to update my chart real quick. Bear with me while I do that. 1 minute. Go back to, there we go. There we go. Literally no management at this very moment because all my stuff is gone. But we've got here, so we're going to give it at least to that much room. Now that we've touched that one zone, that next zone will paint. As we touch this zone, another zone will paint. So it's kind of cool. Kind of really, really cool. And Q's not going anywhere. We did break above, but we're not going anywhere. Yes, broke above, no follow through. Gold is pulling back into the range. Oil has been really smooth actually at this time too. Very, very smooth. Look at oil. Holy cow, you guys. Holy cow. The market has been very sit still, make a big move. Sit still, make a big move. And Q's coming back down. So we still don't even have a close above that just yet. Not yet. Gonna babysit these. Pull up the chat. Hi, Charlotte. Marvin, the name of that book is The Mental Game of Trading. Honestly, by far one of the best books you could ever just listen to it. Just listen to it 30 minutes a day, really, really think on it. There's so much to gain on that in that book. There just are not words. Because if you talk about mapping your emotions, like the strategy itself, too easy. Okay. The strategy itself, way, way too easy. But it's going to be a process. I'm not in this yet. I'm going to wait for confirmation. Got 1:33 left. I really want to get at least below that tick. Great book. But remember, gold pushed down, pushed back up. We're still kind of sitting in range. Um, this pushed up, pushed back down. We're still sitting in range. So I don't want to get overzealous and just get jumped around. There's our arrow. It'll be permanent once we look at it, take out that lower low. Okay. I'm doing it, doing the dang thing. On this one, I do have management, thank God. So we've got our NQ. This is mirrored to, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 accounts right now because I had to turn off all my Apex accounts. Or most of them. Because I don't think the Trade Syncer does good with like how Apex does the PA accounts. I just don't think it communicates well. Honestly. Oh no, don't do that. I'd like to come take that low. But we wicked up and wicked down. On the 1 minute, those were all perfect little moves on both sides. I will probably lock this very, very shortly. 17 seconds left on this candle. I'll let that next candle kind of pull up so it doesn't knock me entirely out, but we'll see. And then we'll check gold here in a second. Check this out. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute with a buffer. Very, very smooth. So 1 minute pops up, pops down, real close to target, and then that's it. But the speed of execution on that is just so fast. So fast. And definitely, in my opinion, not something to do on TradingView. Here we go, back up again. Let's check ES, pull down, back to the 2 minutes. Right back in. I want to respect 50. Gold's coming back down or trying to, so we kind of wicked up, no close above still, so still kind of sitting okay there. And NQ is looking like I should have locked it. Oil was beautiful, of course. I think oil and gold are probably the smoothest for Asian session, like by far. The smoothest. Hopefully NQ rejects off that little fair value gap that we've got going on right now. That's the goal. Here comes gold back down. I wouldn't mind taking that quite a bit further, but let's wait and see. NQ still trying to push up. That's our gold. No management left on it for the moment being. But that's take profit, so that doesn't matter. I'm okay with that. I'm just sitting still. Yes. 2 minute, we came up, we came down. We're still respecting that 50%, so we like that a lot. Gold, we really wanted to respect that 50%. So I wouldn't mind this wick back up. Didn't close it in enough time, but now we're getting the confirmation that we're breaking to the upside. So we're very likely to get a close up there. We don't want that close. We don't want to give it back any more than we need to. Let's see. It's 470. 470. And remember, there's been earnings reports all week and then the tariff stuff. So it's just been one thing after another thing for another thing over and over again. Market's been very jumpy. So 9:30 has not been a beautiful time to trade most days of the week. Most days. I feel like 9 a.m., 10 a.m., fine. 9:30, no. And keeps coming back down. I might have to close gold. I was trying to let it come back, but it's not coming back. Let's see how this does. Yes, bullish candle. Bearish move, 40 seconds left, but we're really not getting any follow through. No follow through. Move, 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 and just no follow through. We are following through here on that buy. Go to the 15-minute, see what that looks like. We've already swept pre-market yesterday's lows, whatever, taken that level. look to come take this next high. We'll see. We're still in that first 15-minute range. We got 3 minutes left on that range. First, but that nice big wick says we've already taken all that we want to take from down there. And I think the indices have a really good direction to go. So I'm still in gold. I'm down 480, 470, 460-ish. There. One mini too. That's all it takes is one mini. But we've got our breakout. We've retested. Now looking to continue. That continuation should, in theory, take this low. 15-minute range has been formed. If you can't afford another trade, don't take this. But I'm going to take ES. So I'm going to take 2 contracts on ES and make up for my gold. That's the plan. I'm going to close gold. Just wanted it to pull back a little bit for me. So gold sitting at 480, getting ready to close 460. NQ is up 200. We're locked now. That's automatic management. ES is sitting at 220, but remember that's 2 contracts, and gold sitting at 390. So I really wanted to come back a little bit more for me, but I missed my opportunity to close slightly cheaper. Come on, baby. My other 2 are managed well. This one's just not managed in terms of automatic settings, so I want to go ahead and make sure I'm monitoring this one, hoping it comes back a smidge more. I've got my hand hovering over the exit button. Yes, 75. NQ out. I'll have to see exactly where. Another big wick. That's what this has been doing all the days. So we're down 430, 420. I really want a little bit less of a stop on this, but I'll take what I can get. I'm going to pull back a little bit. ES is still up 100, 200-ish dollars. I know because subtracting this. NQ closed plus 400, maybe 350-ish. With just good management, just the trail. Just the trail. There goes ES back up. NQ's already back in range. But that's that tight management, man. That goes all the way. I really want this to come back in this range, but the fact that we're rejecting already gives us a retest, not rejection. So I'm likely going to have to close that. And of course, crude is still going good. YM also wicked down, did not even take the low. And gold. Oh, are both gold going up. Gold and the indices are going up. 390. Negative. If the indices are going up, I'd like this to go down. But we'll see. We'll see how that works for us. We like that candle in gold. I like that a lot. And ES still coming back down. It just won't follow through. I didn't want to get above that candle right there. I was patient, but nothing. I'm out. Ish, $500-ish. Yeah, I don't have those little symbols turned on right now. Let's go take a look. what we can get out of anything else. That's full size loss plus some. Should have got out right there. I was being greedy. NQ still respecting the range we like. Might be willing to take another entry. Just really a 1-to-1 at best. ES, we took two contracts, so 1-to-1 plus some. I like how it's rejecting, but it's already also rejected down too. Too jumpy. And there's gold just taken off. This would have been the perfect flag, the perfect retest to either get out with a slightly smaller loss or to take it as a buy. I did neither. It's a very poorly managed trade on gold, but great management. Automatic, because that beats everything else you can do with your hands on NQ and on ES. Now we'll look. I'll hang out, look for maybe one more entry. Move that all the way over here. Caught that here on that big drop. Right before that big drop. Now we wait. We wait. Did anybody catch any or catch and hold any of the ES or the NQ? Or take a hit on gold? I know that counts too. I should have taken a smaller hit on gold.
Yeah, I got the NQ when you went in there. I was in that drawdown, and then on the golden strategy there was another 5 minute entry, so I took that in the drawdown with a tight stop loss, and then as soon as it went down, I closed down. It went down right to where that structure was. I closed it right away. That was a fast move, so it was decent profit, and then obviously you got the pullback, so it was perfect.
That's awesome. I took a small hit on gold. Sandra, good job on the small hit. Man, that was poorly managed. And I want to talk about poorly managed trade because if we notice what people are failing at, you guys, if they're not allowed to talk about their poorly managed trades as if they don't have them. And I know YouTube, some people are more open than others. There's a few that I have a lot of respect for, but it's part of it, guys. Sometimes you had a great trade poorly managed. Sometimes you had a horrible trade wonderfully managed. And those are separate things. And that's okay too. But if we don't ever acknowledge those, like we never get to get better, ever. And honestly, we don't need 5 billion trades, but this one I should have done better. Jonathan, you took the gold buy?
No, NQ, the
Oh,
NQ
and
sell.
okay, God, that's what I was making sure. I was like, I don't see the gold. Honestly, yeah. If I'm gonna do the breakout, I really like top of the hour. I even like the smaller time frame. Think 1 to 2 minutes. Take it if it breaks. Take it. I don't even need these additional targets personally. So on the 1 minute, it hit one target. It hit two targets to the sell. Now we're coming back, retesting the top of that 1 minute zone. That's more trades than we need 10-to-1. But JGS, I just feel like whatever parameters you want for your moving average, we know we have the break and the retest. Like obviously this is chopped, but this is chopped no matter what system you're trading. It just works. And then even on these really crazy, we went crazy, we went crazy, we went crazy. Yes, you don't know that this is going to happen when all this is, preceding it. But if you're just following those rules, you've got plenty enough out of those trades that you don't need anything else. That's just me harping again on the simplicity of that. You took a small hit on gold. Sandra, did you take any of the indices? If you hit me with something in my mouth, it's because I have strawberries on my desk and it's summertime and fruit is amazing. Okay, so don't laugh at me too much.
Can you
Okay.
get your acai bowls?
Oh, I haven't had those in forever. The best ones are by the beaches. Like there's a few places in Fleming Island that has them, but here we go again. Honestly, they're not as good. There's not as much variety and all the bougie stuff that goes in there. Um, they're like think about the what is it, the $1 million smoothie? I'm gonna take one more on Lord Almighty. Everything is signing me in, signing me out 24 hours a day. NQ. That also, honestly, guys, that signing in and out thing might be Donna's fault. I don't know if she's on right now, but if she is, I want to talk to her. I don't know. Hold on. I'm gonna text her because every time she logs in to do the things for Futrix, I'm not in this yet. I want to see how this candle closes. It's not closing good. Um, that's so weird. I get all of this random stuff happening.
Yes, that's me. That's me.
Stop.
Well, I was already connected and I don't know. It disconnected me, so I'm not in it anymore.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay. I
so
was
I
like,
was trying to
I
get
told you
unmute. I'm
earlier. I
like,
was like,
unmute.
I'm trying not to be mean, but I'm like, I can't. Like, listen, there's a few times a week where you guys can get in and do that, but it's gonna have to be like around weird times. And when we kind of knew that was gonna come, but my God, the amount of stuff today. Okay, we got the close. Hold on. It has been wild. We like what we see. Even just taking it down to the VWAP, okay, which is not that far down. So here's the VWAP. This is NQ. Even just trying to take it down into here, manage this tightly because you've seen stuff like this over and over again where we're zooming up, we drop, we're zooming up, we drop, we're dropping, we zoom up, and it's just all over the place. So please, there's no shame in managing it tightly and getting your $50 or your $5, depending on the contracts you're trading. Obviously, we want the big sell down, and that's what I'm personally waiting for too. But if we can't catch it, we can't catch it, and I'd rather not lose in the process if possible. So, Donna, stop it. Now that I can pick on you some more.
Not in it anymore.
I just have to tell you, I'm like, oh my gosh, you have no idea. You should have seen me with Zoom earlier. It was a trip. And then there you are with TradingView, and I'm like, you know what? Forget all of this. I'm not even kidding you. Just all of it. Just never mind. Everything.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Whatever we were doing
Hey,
before, it stopped working. I think it's like something to do with the authentication,
maybe.
maybe.
Yeah, I think it's like caught on or something.
Yeah. It said no. You can't be logged into my TradingView anymore.
Yeah, it said it's on another device.
Yeah, mine.
I know. The legit one.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we're going
Hey, when
nowhere
did
time
that
soon.
update come out?
Okay, so you guys don't have it yet.
Oh,
Our guy, he's pretty awesome. I'm kind of excited about him. We'll see how all this stuff turns out. But we have a couple more things that should be released tomorrow. Just a few bug fixes. Nothing catastrophic. The contracts are wrong right now. That is kind of probably the biggest, most important thing. But it came out last night at midnight, literally.
okay.
Yeah, so it's not like it's been a long time. The arrows, one thing I can ask you guys, since the people who are on here are like my people, what do you want most? Arrows that are resizable, okay? Like what's your most important feature that you're looking for? Because to me, being able to resize those arrows is way more significant than the shape. Because I was going for a lot of different customizable shapes, but the problem with that is you have no decision over the size. And I'm kind of a stickler on the size. Like I won't have them on if they're this big. You guys have a thought
Guys,
on that? Anybody? Who uses the
we'll be able
arrows?
to I want it resizable if we can do that.
You can, but then you have less control over like what shape it is. So like right now, what we have in this version is this drop down menu. So you get all of these choices, which is kind of a lot, but they're all like really obnoxiously sized. So watch. If I do this, the arrow is not, let me fix this. Triangle up. Since this is the one that's on the screen, watch how big this is. It's just this big obnoxious thing. And unlike before, if I wanted I like the flag concept. Like I want the retest to be a flag to show like, hey, that's what a retest is a flag. But it's just so big. Like right now it doesn't look so big, but I promise you, in a big market, this is big.
I
And
like
Oh, okay.
big.
Yeah, resizable.
I like big. I can see it.
it is
Miss Charlotte.
I love the big.
she's like, I want to be able to see it on my
I
eyes,
can
my poor
see it
eyes.
with
Well,
my
listen,
glasses or not.
that's my point right there. She's like, I can see it with my glasses or not. That's how I know I need to resize it. Okay.
Yes, I like it though.
I'm just picking on you. Oh Lord. Okay. But you guys see this is built in now, so you don't have to have that separate for people who don't have a lot of don't have a high-end trading view. So now you have the symbol, the tick value, point value, and you also have the ATR, which is super important because like Jama in our group was posting something about like knowing how much, she wants to trade for how much. This is huge. So when you're taking a JGS signal or even a breakout signal and you're looking at this and you see the ATR is really large, you know you can't go in there heavy. If you see the ATR is really small, you know you can maybe go a little bit heavier and you should also be targeting less ticks or points, right? This is very valuable. It's kind of I almost want to highlight it, bright something and say, look here, because this is super valuable. And of course, the cloud, you can turn that into whatever you want. If you want it to be, it's SMA though. It is SMA. You can make it bigger or smaller or not showing if you want to. But now you've got a moving average on there. Um, how many days back? You don't need that many days back. And that will speed it up too. Line length, all kind of cool stuff. And there we go. We're trying to move now. Look, that's how far we moved. That looked like a lot, but that's about what that was worth. $30. Just going nowhere fast. Nowhere fast. But Donna, it's really cool. So I will release it to Futrix as soon as we're done with all the random updates and stuff like that. But give me some time. You miss some time.
No problem. I
Mhm.
was, I was thinking, I mean, I won't even, well, never mind. I was just thinking about me right now.
Well, you can have it. You're in the Discord.
Well, that's what I was asking. Is this out? I mean, I thought it had the update already on TradingView. It
It
doesn't do
does.
that anymore?
So all you have to do is go up to yours. It depends on if you're running the version from Futrix or you're running the version from 6FTC. If you're running the
Six
version
FTC.
If you're running the 6FTC version, just come right here. It'll say like there's an update or something. It'll be like right
It's
here.
not.
Then you're not running
It,
the one you think you're running.
oh, let me check again. Wait a second. Oh, update the script.
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
I
usually it
can't.
has that thing at the.
I can't with you
Oh,
guys anymore,
okay.
you guys. I can't. I'm so sorry. Please accept my sense of humor, okay? I've got teenage boys at home, like 15 boys coming in from the neighborhood.
Oh, Lord.
Comes home tomorrow, 5,000 text things. So my sense of humor is just like laugh at everything because everything feels like it's on fire right now, okay?
All we can do.
Mm-hmm. But I have strawberries, so there's that. Mm. Hello there. Oh, John, how are you? It's been forever. There we go. We're getting the move now. Patience is hard in this market though, because you be patient and then boom, or the opposite way, which is the hard part. You're like, hey, look how patient I am, and then the big old candle comes up against you. I'm gonna go ahead and lock this. I'm probably gonna get knocked out, but just given stuff like this, I'm not gonna give it back. So even if it's a small win, I'm gonna take my small win, hoping we don't come back above this candle and we could keep going to the downside. But remember, we want to target this area right here, which is the 926. And then we've got the previous low 920s, 916s. I would like to target way down here, preferably, but I mean, I wouldn't have to trade at all for a hot minute. But there I go, I'm knocked out. That's how that happened. Instantly. Instantly, my friend. But we got our couple of wins and our loss. How are you? You made 4433. I love the repeating numbers, first of all. Congratulations. That's awesome. That's awesome. What size were you using to make 4 grand on that move? And what account? Like, I want to know what account. When somebody's like, hey, I made 10 grand on this one trade, I want to know which account, okay? Honestly, no shade. But right now, I've got so many different accounts, and I still don't think, I think the biggest I've ever made on a single trade is still like less than 10 grand. And that was only because of the crazy market candles, the ones that were like, wow, I'm catching a fly. Okay. Okay, well, enjoy your flight. It was good to hear from you. You better take care of you. It was good to hear from you. If you guys don't remember him, his name is John. He's been on the calls before. He's a great personality, great human being, like great to talk to. Shape doesn't always matter if it's too big and in the way. Sandra, I read that and I had to rethink and rethink and rethink that back to the arrows. I really did. Okay, those are our trades. Who's got questions? Miss Donna, did you get your update yet? Boom. I could have taken this one again.
I'm just waiting for my NAS to finish and then I'll update it.
Good job. Good for you. I got knocked out. I have to do it tight if I'm using Trade Syncer. What I realized is I was on the verge of like consistently hitting 50, 70, very high days. Okay. Very, very high days, just using the couple of firms I was using. The more I tried to add all of these other firms, and it's like, cool, I'm gonna go master all these firms. I'm gonna use some copier program and I'm gonna do great. The more I did that, the more I foobarred everything. Because if I go take these trades on whatever accounts I've got on Apex, and that could be 20 or 30, evals and PAs, I do fine. If I go copy them on my little five take profit trader, I do fine. But if I do the trade syncer, the stupid ninja trader versions, okay, all of a sudden there's just so many things that go wrong, and that causes tilt. Like I can avoid tilt 99% of the time. But when something works against me that is not my fault, oh, that brings out the let me show you what instant. And it's horrible. Like I am somebody, I gotta work on that. I gotta work on that for sure. Five minis. Look at you. Good job. On a 150K account, if you've already got a buffer, yeah. I think the most I would do is five though. Five minis, not a bad way to be. Not at all. That's money. Hold on. Let's see. Now mirror that between five accounts.
It's
Okay.
$100 a point.
Yeah. How many points is this right here? So that's 22 points. Yeah. That is not a bad way to be, guys. Not a bad way to be at all. That is money. We're hitting the VWAP right now as we speak. I didn't hold it that long, but that's where we're hitting. That's where we're hitting. But when I'm mirroring all the counts, guys, I'm going to trade very, very, I want in, I want out. I want to take what I can get, where I can get it, and that's it. Because it's not worth the amount of risk. I know there's a guy in the group who said that he was using Trade Syncer pretty well, which is fantastic. I don't know how, because I've tried all of them. Every last one of them, you have no idea. That's it. Okay, who's got questions? Who's playing with the update? Who's still using more JGS than breakouts? Because even like this is the night call, so I'm gonna say this. There's a famous guy, the biggest, the baddest, the greatest on YouTube. Okay. Now that we're there, if you look back at his old strategies and like where he started, and it was some version of the two moving averages and the MACD. Seriously, that's what it was.
You know what?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Jenny. I'm so sorry. There's a trader that an ex Wall Street trader that I've been actually listening to lately, and the reason I have been is because I still use the JGS predominantly. I just see it better, um, and I also like what I'm sort of in tune with the moving averages because it helps me predict a few things like sort of like when we might be entering consolidation and then when we have a strong trend, depending on how the moving averages are looking upward or downward. So all of those things is just something that I like. But anyways, I digress back to the gentleman I was talking about that I'm listening to is that the way he teaches technical analysis is really correlated with the 20 moving average and the 200. So that's worked perfectly with what you've taught over the years and just sort of putting that because everything that I've always done, like even if I ever listen to a lot of content, I like to listen to content, it's always in it's always trying to adapt the JGS strategy and taking things that I may want to add to it or not add to it, or that may, complement it, be complementary towards it. Because yeah, I think that's a trap that a lot of people can get in when you try multiple strategies, especially when you have one that you sort of like are in line with. Really, just enhancing that as opposed to trying to find additional things to put on top of that. Or if you do find additional things, just doing something completely separate and not trying to combine all of them.
Can I ask you something like because you listen to a lot of people, do you think the 200 has more value or less than the VWAP? If you had to pick one.
I, I think I'd be biased because I've stayed, I was sort of raised on the 200, so I don't know if necessarily if I'm correct with saying that 200 is better, but for me personally, I feel the 200 has more value in my opinion.
I do too. So my trading view off screen that I keep for my own personal trading, okay? I've tried the VWAP, I've done all the things. I can't love it. If I had to pick some bigger, trend filter, it would be the 200. It wouldn't be the VWAP. Just because of how it moves. And I know because of the psychological value of it, it has a huge value. But from the psychological value, I can use a version of the 20 or the 50 for that matter. Like, and that's fine too, because even the 50, if we wanted to get like super intense, like the 50 would be just fine. Just add the 50 on there versus the VWAP. But that's also, again, my bias. So I'm not by any means, guys, saying it's the end all be all or the only way to be um at all. I'm just saying for me, I think those are still more reliable. They just move different. And that's just the 50 and the 200. This white cloud is a version of the 20. And she's still going. I mean, she's crawling, but she's going. She is going.
What was that book that you mentioned earlier? I missed the last part. Did you say The Mental Game of Trading?
I did. I did.
Is that by Goldstein?
I'll tell you guys. I told Robert to read it. He's not, I don't think he's on tonight. At least we haven't heard him. Audible. It is by far, if you're working through the mental parts, this is probably the number one. No, this one is by Jared Tendler.
Yeah,
Okay.
him. I was
Jared,
looking on my YouTube. I think you can, I found parts of it on YouTube. I'm looking for the whole book on YouTube.
Donna, my
Should be.
love, you need the whole book.
I know.
I think
I know.
may have started it, but I'm gonna go back and look to it since you mentioned it.
Honestly, guys, if I got to pick one thing, it would be that. Like, so meditate, eat your strawberries, take your walks, do the things, limit your trades, have a plan, blah, blah, blah. We already know all that stuff, but the mental and emotional part that no one's willing to like track through. And I know I trust Robert's heart not to take offense to this stuff, but like in our coaching and stuff like that, because he started one-on-one coaching. Cool. Just recently, by the way, just for clarity. Getting somebody to own their emotions is not easy. And this is coming from a woman. I own that. Okay, we're all very human, superhuman people here. But getting people to own the fact that the decision we make or the reaction or the thought process that we're having is an emotional thought process is probably, I think, the biggest battle. Like an AA meeting, where they say, admitting you have a problem is the first step, blah, blah, blah. Same concept. It's very, very, very difficult for me to tell you, hey, it's not the strategy, it's your feelings. And most people, and if you tell somebody that, they take offense, they call it a scam, they call it this, that, and another. But it truly is. And that book does a phenomenal job, even in the first handful of chapters of just like mind mapping. Oh, I'm not even in that. That's Lamo. Mind mapping all of the emotions that you're going through. So you felt this, but where did this emotion stem from? And I mean to the nth degree. So you had this reaction, this happened. How did this affect you during work, after work? Because being paid only on your performance it's hard. Because even professional athletes, I mean, they have to be great and there's an audience, but they're not even paid that way. They have a contract for X amount of millions of dollars. They're going to get paid. Now they're going to lose next year's income, but they already have this year's income, right? We don't even have that blessing that we have to perform now to get paid. It's a whole different world. That, and then he has this other concept that we'll yap about for a few minutes. It's called the inchworm. And I just think it's the most fascinating way of learning. Like, think about it this way. Okay, John, you said no VWAP for you. I agree. I hate that book. Well, that I want to like it, but I don't like it. The name of the book is The Mental Game of Trading. It is written by and narrated by Jared Tendler. Okay, but listen, he's got this concept, and I'm trying to build something on TradeZella, and once I do, I'll release it to the community. But he talks about your A plus, B plus, C plus trades, blah, blah, blah. You guys already know how I feel about A plus trades, but he breaks it down in a way that I first off accept and own. because here's why. Everyone wants to improve their winning trades. Everyone wants to improve their better trades, right? But no, think about the way an inchworm moves. If all we're doing is improving our better trades and our bad trades are going on tilt or blowing up our account, an inchworm what? It makes a bell curve kind of to move forward. So it moves an inch forward, its whole body goes up, and then the tail comes, right? If we're not improving our bad habits, our front isn't going nowhere. Like all we're gonna do is like army crawl on our shoulders. If you guys can picture that, trying to get from like the couch to the fridge, you're not going anywhere if you don't use any of your feet, right? It's just you literally will just look like a fish out of water. And that image just stuck in my head, and I was like, oh, I get it. Like think about it. Seriously, to me, it's so profound. So something I've been talking to Robert about is okay, we're gonna fix the end part. Because believe it or not, I don't think most people's A game is the problem. And I don't think that's talked about per se in the book. Like if I got to talk to the author and like had a one-on-one, like a podcast or something, I'd be like, so let's talk about it. Like I'm sure I haven't worked with nearly as many people as you, but I've worked with quite a few thousand at this point. And here's what I think. I don't think most people's trading deficit is a problem in their A game. I think most people's trading deficit is a problem in their C game, right? That's the emotional stuff. That's the on the days you're wrong, on the days your emotions are in play, that is what tears up every single A plus, A minus A, B plus, B minus B, C plus, C minus C trade. I think it tears all of it down, right? And if we can work on the back end part more, that's going to leap us forward. Because no matter what, our feet are stronger than our arms. And I have all kinds of analogies in my brain, but now I'm just rambling. I love it. Read it. It's a good book. Good book. Thank you. Thank you, IQ, for posting that. Audible, 100%. And then they have some like printable thing as well. It is a
Have
great
you
book. Go ahead.
have you also seen read the Complete Turtle Trader?
No. What
That's
is it?
actually an interesting one. That's by Michael W. Kovo, but it's a book based off of Richard Dennis. And basically, what he did, this is a ex Wall Street guy and very successful. But he did some sort of project where he just took regular, ordinary people off of the street, and just taught them like very basic, sort of strategies or whatnot, and sort of taught them as far as how they're going to execute their trades on a regular basis and manage them. And he gave each person like different instruments to trade. And like the majority of them were like very successful and made six figures, seven figures, um, just because of the fact that they came out raw and they had to stick to a complete strategy and plan. So it was an interesting thing. And then hence the turtle trading, just like a process and doing it like very slowly, methodically, but sticking to the strategy.
What's the book called again?
The Complete Turtle Trader.
Hold on. The Complete Turtle Trader. No, for a while there, I wasn't reading any trading books. I was just reading like grow personally books. It's in my library actually already, probably from you. How 23 novice investors became an overnight millionaire. Okay. I would read that. 10 hours long, 8 minutes, 10 hours and 8 minutes. This is a true story. Have you guys ever heard of somebody hiring somebody to execute their trades for them?
I
Like if I
think
give you the parameters and you get paid your salary, okay, to do what I tell you to do, right? And you're going to get your salary no matter what. And the account is mine. And so we think about it from an investment standpoint, a performance fee standpoint, but from an execution standpoint, hiring somebody to do their job, I like this concept. I know it sounds so simple, but I would totally try it with somebody. Like, because if most people's mess ups are from the emotional, the attachment to the capital, the attachment to the outcome, and our only job is to just execute properly, if you're paying somebody to execute properly and you can give them a bonus if they're, hitting this many parameters or this many parameters or this many parameters, but they get their, salary no matter what, I would, I think that would be an amazing social experience or experiment just to prove trading is not what people think it is. It's difficult because we make it difficult. 100%. But I think it's worth a shot, you guys. Mental game. Okay, Jim Dalton and Mark Douglas are good as well. Mark Douglas, he takes the cake no matter what. John says mental capital and risk management is extremely, it is. What's the name of the book? I'm just going through that. But 200 for me. Anybody else have an opinion on the VWAP? Because I mean, all the famous people love the VWAP. I still struggle to love it. Honesty. I know it has a magnetic, aspect, but the 50 I see more clearly. It's less choppy. The 200 I see more clearly. Obviously, for the sake of futures, I'm going to a little bit of a smaller time frame. I've added the cloud just to kind of keep me out of some wicks and non-sensory. Um, I just like it a little bit. I did try coloring it to where it was like, sell the color, buy color, but I don't like it. So I just kind of made it really light. You, of course, can do whatever you see, but think about it. This is so easy. 2 minute time frame. You buy and you hold until it crosses back down below the 8. That one's perfect. But even this, you come and you touch, you retest, boom, you sell. It's just simple. You draw a box around this, and until you break out, you don't enter. You do break out, you break out. And that's it. I agree, but getting that ATM to the right number and adjusting the trade the way you need to based on the market and money management can be such a challenge. That's what I'm challenging with right now. Ian, do you mean the ATM on Trade of 8?
Yeah, just the ATM in general, because I've learned that like gold, like there's a specific way that gold moves as opposed to the NQ. So like having a generic ATM doesn't always cooperate with me.
No, you can't.
So yeah, right. So that learning curve of adjusting the ATM specifically for what you're trading, I'm going through those growing pains right now.
So wait, are you using the one on TradingView, Trade of 8, or
Oh, I'm sorry, you did ask that. Ninja Trader. So
oh,
I'm
that's
doing some custom on Ninja Trader.
um I haven't had Ninja Trader up in a minute. What I would tell you is number one, start with ATR. Okay. So watch. Don't, even if you're trading on the 1 or 2 minute, don't look at those numbers, go to the 5. Okay. If you're trading on the 5, don't look at that number, go to the 15. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to go to the 5 just for right now's purpose. Right now, that's only 2 points, 2.8 points. This is Asian session. So figure it's at least double that in New York, right? Give or take. Not always, because lately we've had some voluminous moves. Um, voluminous moves for sure in all kinds of parts of the day. But if we know this is 2.8 points and that 10, this, unlike the other instruments, is 10 ticks, right? So 10 ticks equal a point, whereas some of the other ones, it's 4 ticks equal a point, right? So how many ATR do you want to give your stop loss based off of however you're trading?
I typically do 1-to-1 or 2-to-1.
Okay. How big is your stop loss usually?
Very tight. So my ATM stops me out 90%, well, 80% of the time. So I could probably, I think I need more room. It's what's causing the problem.
Well, yeah, if you're losing 80% of the time isn't bad if you're doing a 10-to-1, but if you're doing a 1-to-1, losing 80% of the time is a big problem. So wait, how are you entering?
So I'm entering so if I'm using a strategy, and this, I will admit, I should do more pre-work on the levels I want to go to, but I stay in for such a short amount of time that I don't do that. So I try to wait until the breakout on the close of the candle and then I enter. But what I'm learning about gold and ES, I only trade gold and ES, nothing else, that they pull back very within 5 minutes. And sometimes if they're moving slow, I stay in way too long. And because I'm in for so long, more often than not, it stops me out because these are more quicker trades to not be in for a long time, at least the way I'm trading it.
And wait, you're trading the breakout strategy, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So first off, I'm not sure if you were on this morning, but what we talked about this morning was something we don't talk about often enough is I don't care if you're using this for New York or London. Obviously, that goes without saying you're trading momentum. But what I want people to know is even if you're using this at 7:42 or 6 a.m., when you're boxing price like this, you're planning a break. That break requires momentum. So in essence, you are a momentum trader if you're trading a breakout strategy. If you're trading JGS, not so much, right? You're going with the trend or you're catching little reversals on the trend. So
Right.
it's a very different mindset. And I think even myself, I struggled with management for that. So now we've defined that as momentum, meaning If this is taking multiple candles to make its move, it would be time to tighten up that stop loss and say, hey, look, we don't have the momentum to push this real quick and get that pump at the top of the hour or that pump at New York Open that we're looking for. So it's no longer valid. And I think that needs to be part of our quote management rules. But now that I've said that, um, what time frame are you doing your breakout?
6:30 Pacific, so 9:30 Eastern, and 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30 p.m. Eastern.
So 9:30 is New York Open. It's been pretty choppy lately, huh?
Today I didn't touch I didn't touch anything today.
Oh, well, now I'm mad at you because I did touch things and it didn't touch back nice, okay? It was not nice, let me tell you guys. But anyways, um, so 9:30, what time frame, like time frame are you
Uh,
trading?
the 2 minute on GC and ES, of course. I trade Sydney sometimes late. I started off with great luck initially, and then lately I got into a stream of bad luck during Sydney, and I've been afraid to trade ever since. So that's why when you mentioned these books, I was like, okay, maybe this is a mental thing that's happening right now, and I need to kind of slow down and just get my mind correct.
You're funny to me. Want to know why? Because I feel like I have hated New York Open for a couple of weeks now, and I love every hour of the day. Like Sydney, I'm in
Mhm.
love. I'm super in love. But 9:30, oh, no, thank you. No, thank you. It's just been choppy. It's well,
Right.
1 out of 5 days is nice, but it's been choppy. So, but okay, let's talk about strategy, regardless of the time of day. If you're
Mhm.
taking on break, the newest update, if you're in 6FTC, you have um, you have the newer version, which
Mhm.
includes this buffer. Okay, this buffer I think is a game changer. So the ATR on the 5 minute is only 2 ticks. So obviously we can't have a really big buffer. I'm just going to make it one. Okay. Oh, that moved too far over. So one, click out of it. You'll see those lines expand. It's going to help you from that kind of those ticks. And now I'm going to click two. There you go. Not a
Mhm.
huge difference on ES. That's not even going to be a huge difference. Three, that's only, well, I guess we're on the 5 minute time frame. So yeah, 5 minute time frame, but not on the two. Not on the two for sure. That's going to really make a big difference. But let's keep it at five for the moment being. For the moment being. Here we go. And that's how we got trapped into that cell, which technically hit one target. I was just late to the party. Um, okay. So if I am taking this trade, now you're talking about, have you decided whether you're taking at the break or the after the candle closes?
Uh, Lately I was more successful at the as the candle closes as opposed to the break.
Yeah, because of the market we're in, I hate to say this out loud, but you're probably better off waiting for the candle close. Now, in some cases though, remember you're trading the momentum has happened, right? It's already played. If this was all it did, which has been happening a lot, this happened on NQ this morning where the whole momentum hit, the whole momentum hit, and then it hit, and then at 11 o'clock it was like peace and it took off, right? Um, so I want you to know that you make that rule, that's fine, but it might not always be the best rule. You might have
Right.
to revisit that and don't revisit it after one bad day. You have to revisit it after looking at market conditions in a bigger picture. So here's the deal. If you're waiting for the candle to close, this data, which again needs to be updated, as of it was working, now the equations are off, is no longer going to be as viable. So if you're trying to use these contracts to get in, based off a 50% stop loss or the whole range stop loss, you need to know first and foremost, this is not the size you're using. So you'd have to use something like this for your size calculator. And for that, I know that NinjaTrader has a few tools. Affordable Tools has some. I don't have a good shining review for them, but maybe that tool works really good. I can't say. I gave up. I'm not a fan. So if you entered here, where are you putting your stop loss? At the 50% mark? Because if you're waiting for this to close outside of the range, are you using the whole range as a stop loss or 50% of the range as a stop loss?
I use so if based on your colors, my stop loss will be right at the orange. If I'm in a buy, right at the orange breakout line under it.
So right here.
That's correct. Yes.
So you're using the whole range, okay?
Right.
Mind you, right now we have a buffer put on here. So to give you an idea, and you're going for a 1-to-1,
Right. So I go to the I guess the blue line where you yeah, because on mine is
oh,
purple. So I think
yeah,
on the bluish line
don't mind
of,
that.
of the indicator is where I'll stop at because that's where the nonsense starts to happen. Wait before it either it pushes through or it comes back down. So I just try to stay within those confines.
So we don't close out of the box until right here. We're putting our stop loss here. What did we say the 5-minute ATR was? Do you remember?
It was two something. I can't remember.
2.8, right? Ish, if I'm not mistaken. So if you use the 5-minute ATR for your setting that day, and it's not going to be exact, but what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to click buy, okay? Knowing your ATM is managing, it'll give you the greater of the ATR, right? And worst case, because this is what I would do if I was using NinjaTrader, is if I didn't buy that affordable indicators tool that kind of does ATRs, and I don't even think their ATR calculations worked from what I saw, but I can't attest to it because again, I gave up. I didn't have any more testing on NinjaTrader in me. So that's an option. Or option number two would be 5, 10 minutes before your trading session, you're going to come look at the ATR. Okay. You can look at the ATR using this tool. You can look at the ATR using the actual line down here, and you'll get a chance to see, are we lower or higher than average? You'll see if this is pretty on. You can also extend it in settings. Okay. So if you want to see the bigger picture of the ATR, you could make this 100, or whatever, to see what the average is across 100 candles, which will kind of help eat up some of those small and large candles. So
Mm,
you've got a couple ways to kind of get that ATR. You're always going to use the ATR from a higher time frame. So figure 2.8, what's going to happen is this candle's going to close. You're going to have a stop loss pre already set because you've set your settings, right? And you can update this weekly or daily depending on how volatile the market is. Right now it's pretty volatile given Trump and tariffs and whatever else.
right.
But so that's up to you. Before this set season of our life, I would have updated it like once a week or once every few weeks even. Now it might behoove you to check it a little bit more regularly. So one ATR stop loss. What I would do is try to capitalize on slightly more than a 1-to-1, right? If you're entering here, the purpose of using automatic management is most of the time to get the 1-to-1, but sometimes to get the 3-to-1, right? Sometimes get the
Mhm.
1.5-to-1 and sometimes get the 2-to-1. So what that would look like is, and I haven't played with those settings in a couple of weeks now, but stop loss, we said 2.8. So you'd probably have to round that to 3. I would have my take profit at, at least 2 times that, maybe even 3 times that. Okay.
Mm, mhm.
And then I would have those middle management settings, the trail settings where it says, hey, when it gets to, 2.8 or 3, now I'm going to trail by, 5 ticks or whatever. So really, really tight and catch just a little bit more. And that little bit more doesn't seem like much. And sometimes, yeah, it means you're going to close out here. But most of the time, what I think happens is you end up closing out here and you get 1.3 instead of 1. And that 1.3 is enough to make a pretty big dent in the bank if you do it right.
Right.
So those settings are on NinjaTrader. If you pull up your NinjaTrader, I can help walk you through kind of setting that up. But set your stop loss. And then remember, if the ATM is preset, you hit buy. Your stop loss and your take profit drops. If you don't want it this far away, let's say it drops way down here, you can always drag that up a little bit. So you can say, hey, look, thanks for giving me the added risk. I'm going to drag this up a little bit. So now I'm de-risking already, right?
Mhm.
And letting this play out because you're going to have middle management step in at exactly one, whatever. Okay. Because remember, if you're taking it to this blue line, in this case, we close just below this blue line.
Mhm.
So that's not going to be 1-to-1 if you took it from here to here. That's like a point oh five to 10 or something. I don't know. It's a really bad number though. I don't know what it is. So that's kind of what I would do is set my middle management up to make it to where as we hit the 1-to-1, now I'm going to trail aggressively. And you'll see that's what I did on NQ. So when I've got up the trading view kind of showing, you'll see me enter the trade, it'll hop around or not, and then it'll move a little bit, it'll lock, my profit. Sometimes that sucks because I get knocked out. I'm not going to fib. I'm debating on getting rid of my auto break even, but you don't have to have that porn on. You can turn it on or off. I'd probably recommend keeping it off because I get it hit too much. But
Right. I had that problem.
yeah, and we don't win. I don't want to have a break even trade every time. But after that, after I move a 1-to-1, now I'm trailing so tight. So if I had taken this buy, this is somewhere in here is going to knock activate my 1-to-1. I'm going to get to here and I'm going to be trailing so tight. It's going to knock me out. Something like NQ. The beautiful part of NQ was I entered, didn't have the best entry somewhere in here, give or take, right? It locked, it knocked me out. Knocked me out probably somewhere in the tail end because by the time I get down to in here, I am
Mhm.
trailing so tight. Boom, it knocks me out when it pulls back up. And then sometimes when you get this 100-point drop, you catch 90 points of it.
Right.
That's just me.
Gotcha.
But why are you trading on Ninja Trader?
Because you don't trade on TradingView. I use the indicator, but I switched to Ninja Trader because I just felt like with okay, you know what? When I was using cross trade, it was all connecting to Ninja Trader anyway. So then I was like, well, let me just go ahead and start using that with the DOM and just getting in everything quicker because I felt like there are moments where TradingView was not letting me enter and exit trades in a
Quick
way
enough.
where I was maximizing profit.
Yes.
So I converted to Ninja Trader before realizing that TraderBait was just as good as Ninja Trader. But now that I've been in it for the past several weeks, I've just kind of grown to like Ninja Trader, and it's just been my preference for now.
Okay, well, more power to you. Do you think cross trades was pretty accurate or no?
I
I heard
think
your
that
breath.
when it comes to automation, it's way more work, and it just takes a little bit more work than it just takes more time. And I got a little discouraged because you just can't put a strategy or put parameters in and think this is going to work every single time. It just really takes a lot of trial and error. And you said that, like, it comes down to data and finding out, how well we performed last week and what we need to adjust. And sometimes that can cause more wins or more losses. So those growing pains is what I'm currently dealing with. Uh, so that's where I am. I'm not gonna say I'm okay. I'm lying. I am frustrated with my trading right now. Uh, I was gonna lie and say, well, it's not so. No, I'm a bit frustrated, and I think that I've mentally just have allowed myself to be a bit scared to kind of enter at this point. Which brings me to a question I had for you because I remember over the years, um, and you can correct me if I'm saying this incorrectly, but I remember you mentioning that at one point you would be at the threshold of like 300,000 in profit or something like that, and it's like it was challenging to get to that threshold. And I feel like in my trading, I get very close to a certain amount using prop firms as this example. And then right when I'm at the cusp, like a few $100s away from where I need to be, um, things don't go the way they need to go. And I'm back towards square one. And I know this is getting a bit more metaphysical, but I just was curious, was that how did you shift that to pass that threshold where you weren't staying within that you see what I'm trying to say, like I think I'm having the same issue where I'm getting very close to a certain level of success and then I'm like stepping right back, and I'm not sure how much of that is me intentionally making mistakes or just a mindset that I metaphysically might have, but I'm
I
just
think it's the
currently dealing with
mindset.
that.
Like, so
Got
we
you.
talked about that a long time ago. So, well, first off, the irony is we talked about that at the beginning of today as well, right? We talked about how, what did I say? I had to back off of some of the copy trading because I was on the verge of literally 50, 100K days easy. I'm talking like eyes closed, no stress, took some losses, took some wins. This is life changing. Yeah, I'm talking $500,000 months, easy $250,000 months, payout level, like amazing things upon us. And I suddenly made this decision, and I notice I am calling it a decision to go find all these other prop firms as well, which I think at that point I started copying between a bajillion accounts. And since then, I spent the last many months just trying to copy, and most of the copying I've done has not been adequate. They'll work and then not work well enough. So we talked about it today in one context, but to revert back to the many, many years ago, that particular topic was psychological levels. I think, and a lot of successful people have said this much smarter than probably I will here, but most people think they're afraid of failure, but there's all kinds of studies that say you'd be surprised how many people are more
So,
afraid of success, like
yep.
genuinely more afraid of success, and then and not on a subconscious level, and not on a conscious level, but on a subconscious level, meaning you see something that is that possible and that close, and then you have all these other demons, for lack of better words, or mental and emotional hangups that kind of come in and start kicking your butt. And you might not notice them because they might manifest in poor behavior or even things like, let me use me as my own best example. I'm doing something super incredible, like life changing, prove the whole world all these things. And then I go and try to expand it more right then. That's kind of stupid, right? I mean, and that's small, but if you look at that from a deeper, more, metaphysical almost way, that's almost like a form of self-sabotage. And I
Right.
think that's what you were talking about.
That's exactly
But
what it is. Yeah.
it's what you said about it's data, like, and I know I'm just kind of bringing this full circle, but you also said you're working on the automation, but then it's the data and it gets very frustrating. And then it makes you fearful to take a manual trade because of what you saw in the automated trades. And it made you think that if the automation can't do it, you can't do it. And again, those are all the psychological stuff. That book will help exponentially. Read it 10 times slow. No reason to rush through, but read it 10 times slow. I mean it. Moving beyond
Sure.
that, like, the whole point of data, and I don't think anybody has data, is because most people have a bad week and make adaptions for week two. When it works, they think the good week is because of the adaptions they made. When it doesn't work, what do? They make more adaptions, right?
Mhm.
Adaptations. And then week three comes, maybe it was a good week and you were somewhere in between the rules you thought you were having, but you're nowhere near the plan you thought you had. And now you have this break even week. So what do? We adapt, we change strategies, we do something else. It could be a small change or a big change. I do thoroughly believe the vast majority of people, including myself, don't have what it takes to consistently do the same thing for 4 weeks and let the results fall where they will and not make any adaptations. And that, like if you were doing private coaching, like that's what I would have you do. And if you don't want
Mm.
to do it, fine, don't do it. Like that's on you. But honestly, we have to break the cycle somewhere because like JGS, there are literally people making multi-millions of dollars. If I look at some of the most successful automation strategies, even I reference it quite often, but the Trading Nut has 1,000 different EAs. The only ones that have any standing and have performed at all are versions of a JGS thing. And honestly, they don't perform well because anything with the stop loss doesn't automate well. Not long term. It'll automate short term, but most automation does not automate well that doesn't some type of grid in or multi-entry in. And that's statistically. Don't listen to me. Go look at the other 5,000 EAs ever built. So I say all that to say the strategy is not the problem. It's the fact that most people don't follow a strategy. They think they do. They tell themselves, "Hey, I'm trading the breakout," but then you didn't take this, you did take this, and then next
Mhm.
week you did the 5 minute, and this week you did the 2 minute, and when you back tested, you only back tested the 15 minute. You entered on Whoops. You entered on closes, you entered on opens, you managed on 50%, you managed on 100%. You've done 500 different things, but you have not done one thing 10,000 times. And until you're able to do one thing 10,000 times, the results don't matter. So, whereas sometimes my calls feel a little mundane and boring, or like to me, most of the time I love the people, so I probably shouldn't use those words, but it's
Mhm.
repetitive. It's because JGS, like 7, 8 years of the same thing, it works. Like it is repetitive, but we mastered doing the same thing a bajillion times. And I think mastery is the only way to break that cycle, that mental and emotional psychological cycle, that mental and emotional whatever. And a lot of the success books and the self-help books would tell you the same thing. That in-rooted fear that creates that emotional reactivity, that emotional next decision, whether it's conscious or subconscious, is only going to be defeated through consistent, diligent action that supersedes it. And then,
Mm.
of course, a bunch of inner work. Wow, that got deep quick. I just
Oh,
went. Blah, 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 blah.
I like it.
Sorry, guys. What's JGS? Google's. What's your name, Google's? It's my strategy. It's not super profound. It is very specific, It's got a couple of moving averages, a couple of oscillators, really clear entry rules in terms of the indicators on the chart, and then really cool what we call considerations, right? So conditions are based off of what's on the chart. Considerations are things you need to consider before entering based off of what's on the chart, right? And it's we've got a little map of it in our Discord community. It's very effective. Is it perfect? God, no. Um, is there times where like it's gonna suck? Yeah, this is gonna suck no matter what strategy you're trading. Um, but it works. And if you learn to capitalize on the wins, limit and mitigate your losses, you are just fine. And obviously don't overtrade and all the other things that go into this stuff. Let me not get ahead of myself. It's not you, Father. The market conditions have been trickier than this year. Oh, so listen, John in the chat told you, Ian. You probably remember him. He was around the same time you were, because you're the
Hmm.
same Ian, right?
I am. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I thought I recognized your voice. He's John. He got that excited voice. Like he's fun people. But he said it's not you, brother. Market conditions have been tricky all year. That is no cap. Look at this. And I caught a baby percent of that. Baby move of it. But that's what we're here for, guys, is to hang out and create this, I don't know, quasi trading therapy, I guess, and talk through some of the things because I want to talk about the hard things that no one else is talking about. Like, because everybody wants to make it be about the strategy or be the biggest or I made this or I'm number one. That's great, but I want to see people succeed even with their live money. Like I want to see the next level. And for you, it might be $100 payout. For somebody else, it might be a $10,000 a month. For somebody else, it might be buying their fifth home. Like wherever you're at, I want to see you get from where you're at today to where you're dreaming of being tomorrow. Like that's the goal. And that takes work. That takes like doing the dirty work and getting down into the middle of it and kind of working through it all slowly but surely. No cap. Yeah, see, no cap. Hey, I got some slang. There's this hilarious Instagram video that goes through all the like no cap, put the bag in the fries. Um, that's an L move. Oh, there's so many. And since I have a neighborhood of teenage boys, I have to like decipher this new language that's slightly more complex than Spanish, and makes way less sense. Like, because at least in Spanish, like there's like facial expressions that match, but these are teenagers. There's nothing that matches. None of it matches. Not the eye movements, the half words, the reusing of words that already had a definition, like baked and tweaking, like those had definitions. And like this generation is renaming them with something else, among other things. But it's kind of fun. So much fun. But okay, guys, we caught a couple of trades. It was an L move, to say the least, on gold. We could have jumped in. Okay, that would have, I did not take this trade. Let me move that. It was just discussion. Could have jumped in, and that's going to be the savior too, is when you can kind of take both sides when you're wrong. ES was a great trade, only got this portion. Russ moved down beautifully, never came back up. And then Q, two really small. Well, this one was full size, this one was small. I think I got out on this candle before this mark right here. So probably as this pulled up right here is my stop loss. Got hit. And overall, great trades. So up on the day, probably another, I don't know, 5 grand between all the different accounts. I'll have to pull it up on my all the different places to see exactly what it's up on the day altogether. But if you've made the money, please be done today and come back tomorrow, unless you've already got your funded account and you have no caps on it. But since most people, all these brokers have caps in some way or another, only hit your daily max and no more. And that's all I've got. So any other questions, comments, anything of the like? And yes, like John, hey, if I'm gonna stream this stuff, chat, please make sure you like and subscribe and do all the things. It's that time again. Like this video, subscribe, bump, whatever it takes to bump this up. So it's about that time again. I'd like to get like 100 likes on a live stream. That would be cool. Okay. That's my next goal is 100 likes on the live stream. And we have to announce our did you announce? Thank you. I love this little secret meeting thing. There's like a secret message box now on Zoom. It's really weird, but it's kind of fun. It's very weird. It's like this little secret box that pops up with a little head next to it. But hold on, bear with me. We've got to announce our winner. And then our secret code, first and foremost, is 6FTC summertime, baby. No, I do not think summertime is going to be. Oh, David, congratulations. I got a lot of coaching sessions today, you guys. A lot of coaching sessions. Congratulations, David. Come and hang out with me for an hour. Let's kind of go through. Here's what's going to be required, first and foremost. What's going to be required of you? The value of this is like $250 to give you an idea. I don't know if we're doing the 30-minute or the hour, but we'll hang out for at least an hour. I usually over deliver. It's in my nature. So congratulations, David. I'm super excited to work with you.
Thank you so much.
Let's go, bro.
If you like your brother, he can come. If you want it to be about you, that might be a good idea too. I'm okay with whatever.
Man, I would, I've been wanting one of these.
We talked about that last week, right, bro? We
Yes, I
I
did.
told
I told him, I said I want to
right.
hang out with her and
Yep.
pick her
Yep.
brain.
Yep. I'll be in the mentor. Doesn't matter. I already told my brother I'm paying for the mentorship. I already seen the website before you promoted it.
Oh,
So,
did you? Yeah. See, we haven't even announced.
I sent it to him. I sent
hello.
it to him.
Hey,
Play with that.
you guys make me the happiest. Like sometimes I feel like I'm just spinning my wheels. I'm doing all this work. Like, but then I have these people who are like, you're my people, who go above and beyond, who support me, who like I've been massively blessed and massively impressed with the Johns on YouTube and of course Jonathan and Barika and David and just Josh. Wait, it's Joshua. No, I know that. I'm just joking. I did know that today. There was no doubt. There was no Josiah in my brain. I had to mess with you then. This time I did know that. Just all
So
the good
what
people.
time? When? Because I work.
You'll schedule it through the link, and because it's a one-on-one, I will allow for an evening session.
Okay,
That's
good.
totally fine. But here's what I want you to do in the meantime. I want you to write down every question that you can possibly think of.
Woo!
I also will not take the coaching session until you have at least 5 days of trades that we can review.
5 days of trades.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, he
Five
got that.
days. Like, because
Okay.
sometimes people's accounts reset and they're like, hey, I want to do this coaching session, but then we get in there and like I want to work through where you're at. And the only way to work through where you're at is to see what you're honestly doing. And I
Oh, so
can't see
you
what
mean TradeZella has to be hooked up to it, right?
I don't mind if you have TradeZella. I don't mind if you, I don't care what tracking software. I don't care if it's Tradeovates. I don't care if it's preferably better than screenshots because that gives us less work. That gives us more
Does
work than it.
Tradeovate track?
Tradeovate will, like, if you still have the same account, TradingView will track it and Tradeovate, I think they keep it. I don't know. Do they keep it more than a day or does it disappear? I think it disappears.
Okay.
But
I
it
think
should
I
be.
have TradeZella.
Okay. TradeZilla will work. And I think if you log into TradingView, we can even see the arrows where you entered and where you exited. So we can really break down what you're doing, go over it, give you actionable steps. Because talking, guys, everything I talk about on here with you now, and you have 100% access to me right now to ask all the questions you want. But on a one-on-one, we're going over the same thing, just in much more depth. But the truth is, I want you to leave from this session with actionable next steps that if you apply them, you will make it from wherever you're at, like the inchworm thing we talked about earlier. It might be moving your B game or your A game or your C game up a little bit. My goal lately is more to focus on the back end. Everybody wants to take better winning trades. That is the least of your concern. Your winning trades win. Okay. You're fine. We need to stop with the losing trades that are either blowing our accounts, the times we entered that we shouldn't have, the times we mismanaged how we shouldn't have. Like we need to fix those other things. So that's why the whole concept of like let's break down, give actionable steps is there. But congratulations. We're happy for you.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Hey, you two are like our massive manifestors over here. You guys talk about something and then Joshua wins. You guys talk about something and then David wins.
Oh
So
yeah, we two or more in agreement. We don't play about that scripture. We be on it. If one brother hurting, we be on it. You know what I mean? This journey, we've been through a lot. My brother, we've been through a lot. Just know that. I mean, he was with me when I lost everything with the hurricane. Houston got hit last year with the hurricanes, um, tornadoes, you name it. If I get laid off from a job, back and forth, he was here. I was here when he blew 10 accounts. That doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So we don't play. We speak it real quick. We get out of that real quick. If we're down, we get out of it real quick because like you just told that guy, this it's not about those wins. We need to talk about you need to interview the guy about those losing days and how you feel that day or that next day. And, that's what I started to learn on my journey. Like that, the losing days those are the days that really you have to psychologically tap in, and it's hard out here, Jenny, when most of your family members and friends, they don't trade, they don't do business. And especially me, I have a heck of a story. I can't talk to none of my family because they either in jail or doing something not too well. So
Hey,
it's a blessing to have a
Joshua.
brother like
Yeah.
that. So
I'm
yeah.
100% with you. Like maybe one day I'll tell my whole story, but I get it. I've been business minded my entire life. And it's a lonely road because I've had some, pretty big quasi successful industries where again, I didn't walk away till I was on the block from a lot of different industries. So I got pretty good at getting bad until I got good. And trading is just the most recent one of them that I was like, wait a minute, I don't have to worry about no regulation. Well, at the time, at least, I didn't think. I didn't have any compliance from other countries, and just it's a hard field out there when the world feels like it's stacked against you. So I'm honestly grateful for people like you guys speak it into existence. You got each other's back. Miss Sandra gave you guys a huge Purple Heart. Miss Sandra, you're one of them. William, who never forgets a single name, like I hope you're typing, copy and pasting that in the morning. But man, you guys are my people, 100%. I could not do this without you. So
Thank you,
You
thank
Jenny.
you.
gotta know
Thank you.
life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Book of Proverbs, baby. Let's go.
Hey,
All
David, you
day.
ask how many people who meet me, and that's the first thing I'll say to them. Because and I won't even like hang out with them if they got a couple of times, and then like if that's how I can't. Like listen, I'll listen. I'm a great listener to an extent, but then it's hey, we're not talking about we're not speaking that into existence. We're just not. That is not our reality. Like that's not it.
Right.
So,
We and it's 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 so true. In 2022, uh, I dissolved a business, and I I have a friend that he just got he's a pastor of a church, and I've known him for 15 years, and he sat me in one day and he goes, he says you need to watch how you say things, and the way he told me, it just switched my mindset. So I started studying the word on everything about words. As a man thinketh, so is he. If you think that in your heart, that's what you are. Well, I looked back over my year, and everything that I spoke helped me fail my business. I basically spoke it into existence. So I decided right then, no more negativity in my life. 2023, it was like a 360 degree. Yeah, it was amazing. My business fluctuated off and on, but it was fluctuating in a way that was positive. And now I just walk by faith. Josh can attest to this. Sometimes I struggle, but I know in my soul and in my heart that God provides for his children, and it may not be in David's timing, it's in his timing. And I just have to know that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So you know I have to believe that he's not going to say, okay, well, now you're on your own, because he never has. So uh, my
and
life is not where I want it to be, but I am not where I used to be.
and that's it. If you keep doing that 1%, okay, just a little bit better every single day, I'll take that any day. And I love that. As Brika said, testify, preach. I do not conform to the patterns of the world, but I am transformed by the renewal
Right.
of
Romans
my
That's
12
mind.
2.
favorite scripture right there, Donald. That's
Yeah,
it.
Yes,
12
I'm
1
sir.
and
off with
2.
that.
All day, every day.
You heard me?
All
Yeah, I'm
day,
Words
off with
every
that.
create.
day.
Yeah, I'm
Words
off with that.
create. God created the universe with words.
Yeah.
Never leave, never forsake. Amen.
Yeah.
I love every single part of that. And that's how we know that you guys are my people because you guys get it. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be without trials. It doesn't mean your life is going to not have a hurricane or a divorce or something that is catastrophic. That's not what we're saying. We're saying, hey, look, that's part of it. Our job is to keep the faith and keep the process through that so we can get to that next step and that next step and that next step. So,
Just for so y'all know, I was one of those people she said that to, and she knows ever since that day. I mean, I mean that was I don't know how many years ago now, but my mindset is I don't speak I
six.
speak only speak life, right, Jenny?
That's right. She listen, Donna's not the same person. She messaged me some crap and I was like, life and death is in the power of the tongue. And that's all I said. Like I didn't even entertain the crap. I love you, Donna. But all I said was life
Oh, I
and
love
death is
you
in the power of
too.
the tongue. Like that's it. And I'm not kidding you. Her life is not the same life. She is not even the same human as she was 6 years ago. And no,
You
it
know,
doesn't
No.
God,
mean she's accomplished every single thing she's working toward, but in every single way possible, she is not the same person because she just got a little hold of it in every area of her life. And like, I could not be happier to know that I made that difference. Like, I'll take that all day long.
you
That
know,
that makes me happy.
in the beginning, God created everything from, he created everything to produce seed, and everything that produces seed has to reproduce of its own kind. Like an orange tree can't create an apple tree. So if you fast forward to the parable of the sower, everything is a seed that we speak for ourselves first, and then it affects everybody around us. So if we're speaking negativity, it's going to reproduce negativity. If we speak positivity, it's going to reproduce of its own kind. So
That
I try every day to speak something positive to somebody or to myself at least, because I know it reproduces of its own kind.
amen to that.
Amen.
All right,
Yeah.
you guys. Well, Mister, you got it tattooed on you. Let's definitely come and hang out some time. Hey guys, remember we have that the little voice chat thing also in Discord. If you guys are just so let's say you're live trading, you want to hang out, go pop in there and then put an announcement tag at everyone in the Discord, and let's go hang out when we're trading. Like it doesn't have to be formal or anything because it's nice to have people just to yap at. So yes, your words are canisters full of seed. I love that. I love that. Yep. I've been friends with you, John, for over 5 years now. See, it's a lot of these relationships are long term. I'm not on the feed. I need I need to be on there with you, not on YouTube. Yes, John, come on in. But I love you guys all very much. Happy. It is 9:30. I know it's dark, but I'm gonna go walk this little butt of mine all the way around the woods for a little while because I need to move. And tomorrow's big news, so please, if you have a Take Profit Trader account or any of the accounts that avoid news, be careful. Don't be in. Happy trading. Take care and God bless, guys.
Thank y'all. God bless everybody.